All right. So our next speaker is someone with a profound dedication to both education and community.
She is a sister of Providence from St. Mary of the Woods and currently serves as vicar and general treasurer of the congregation. With nearly 40 years in administrative roles, she has made a significant impact on education at both secretariate and collegiate levels.
She's also the founder of the Cristo Rey School of Indianapolis, a testament to her belief that miracles can occur if we hold students to high standards and be a community for them.
Please welcome Sister Jeanne Hagelskamp as she shares her inspiring insights on the transformative power of education and community.
Well, good afternoon. It's my privilege to be here with you this afternoon. And before I begin in earnest, I have 3 caveats. First, the stories that I will tell today are true, but I will be using pseudonyms. Second, I have been in college prep schools most of my life, and so the examples that I am giving are from those schools. But I want you to know that I fully recognize that not every student will be college-bound, and I think the lessons of today are applicable to any school setting. And third, I want you to know that as I was driving here this morning, it came to my mind that probably I'm preaching to the choir because you're in this audience today. So I say, just sit back and pat yourselves on the back as I move through my presentation. I've spent nearly 45 years in education as teacher, administrator, teacher of prospective teachers and administrators, and accreditation evaluator. And over, I have seen the significant difference and miracles that happen when schools become more than just educational institutions, when they in fact become what I've come to call communities of care. In fact, I believe that those people in schools who genuinely care play a pivotal role, or to use the language of today, hold a remote control, a powerful one, in the lives of our students. And I had that validated just a couple of weeks ago. I was in St. Louis with some friends, and we were in a hibachi restaurant, and there sat a young man with his younger brother and some of his friends. And the young man was counseling them about what courses they should take next year in school, going so far as to say what foreign language they should study based on the teacher who taught it. I couldn't help myself. I knew I was going to be here today, and so I couldn't resist. And so I asked, "May I ask why you recommended the teacher that you did?" And without a moment's hesitation, the young man replied, "Because she cares." I've been in schools for a long time, and most of that time I've been in economically challenged communities where things are tough. One of those schools was on the west side of Chicago, smack dab in the heart of where the riots had been in the 60s. There, Providence St. Mel sat as a beacon of light in the community, in the midst of burnt-out buildings, gangbangers, drug dealers, and houses of prostitution. But it was there that I learned one very important lesson that I want to convey today. Lesson number 1, hold high expectations for all students and give them the support that they need. They'll come to realize that you believe in them and care for them, and it will transform their lives. So what kinds of high expectations am I talking about? Honestly, they're really pretty simple. At Providence St. Mel, although we were a college prep school, many of our students came to us 2 or 3 grades below level. Sammy was one such student. He came to us reading at 4th or 5th grade level, I can't remember for sure. So in addition to enrolling him in a freshman English class, we also put him in a reading class. His reading teacher, Mary, of course, worked with him every day during class, but often she worked with him after school as well. Sometimes at his request, sometimes at her request. They did this day after day, week after week, and it all paid off. Once Sammy learned to read, it was like the whole world of education had opened up to him. And he began to read really well. You see, he knew that Mary believed in him and really believed that he could learn to read at grade level. And so he did. He graduated, and several years later, when he came back to the school to visit, I asked him what he was doing, and he said to me, "I'm working on my doctorate." Then there was Marcus. Marcus transferred into our school as a sophomore because his mother wanted to get him out of the neighboring school. She was afraid that he was going to get involved in gangs. And at Providence St. Mel, there was no time to get involved in gangs. Needless to say, Marcus was not very motivated because he didn't want to be there. But as basketball season got a little bit closer, he began to think that maybe he'd like to play ball. Well, we knew, looking at his grades, that that wasn't going to happen anytime soon because his grades were atrocious. But his English teacher, Lori, took him aside one afternoon, and together they sat down and figured out what grades he would need in each class and what grades he thought he could reasonably get in each class if he really studied hard and stayed focused. And they agreed that he could sit in the back of her classroom every day after school to study so that he had the environment he needed. Well, that happened day after day, week after week, and sure enough, Marcus became eligible to play ball. Even after he was eligible, he continued to sit in the back of her room because he knew she cared about him, had set realistic expectations for him, and had given him the environment that he needed to be successful. Today, he is Dr. Marcus Miller and serves as Associate Dean of Social Sciences in the college where he works. These high expectations at Providence St. Mel have benefited many students. For the past 42 years, every senior in that school has been accepted to college. And in 2015, every senior was accepted into a Tier 1 college, Yale, Harvard, etc. Why? It's not magic. It's because people believed in them, set expectations that were high but realistic, and gave them the support they needed. And so those students began to believe in themselves. And when that belief happens, that's when the small miracles occur and the transformation of lives begins. Teachers, administrators, parents, you hold one of the most important remote controls in the lives of our students by holding high expectations and believing in them. Students will know that you care about them, and they will begin to believe in themselves, and that's when the miracles happen. Lesson number 2, never underestimate the power of words. In a community of care, every word might make a difference. When I was at Providence St. Mel, I taught math, physics, and computer programming, the latter to students in grades 5 through 12. So as you can imagine, every day after school, my classroom was, let's call it a circus. Some students needing help with math and physics, the little ones back at the computers trying to figure out their elementary programs, and my seniors in advanced programming really doing some complex coding, such as the animation program that was a tour of the school. That was Jackie's program. Often it seemed I would be helping a student with some of the math or physics or whatever, and one of the little ones in the back of the room would say, Sister Jean, can you come help me? And I'd say, just a minute, let me finish here. And with that, I'd see Jackie get up, go over and help the student, and go back to her program. This didn't happen just once, it seemed to happen frequently. One evening after school, as I was about to call it quits for the day, I noticed that Jackie was the last one at the computers, just getting ready to power it down. And I said to her, Jackie, I just want to tell you how much I admire you. You know, it seems like so often when I'm working with somebody and one of the little ones needs help, you just get up, go over and help them, and then go back to your seat. And I just want to thank you for your quiet leadership. Now, I'm not saying that so that you'll feel compelled to continue to do it, because I know you have a program due to me in a couple of weeks, and it's massive. But I really just want to say a sincere and heartfelt thank you to you for being the person that you are. That was it. An innocent but sincere thank you. Or so I thought. Jackie graduated, she went on to college, and we asked her to come back and help with senior retreat. I couldn't be there the day that she talked because I had to be in an administrator's meeting. But when I showed up later in the afternoon, some of the faculty were out in the parking lot, and they said to me, oh, Jeanne, we wish you had been here this morning to hear Jackie's talk. I said, yeah, I really wanted to hear it. I'm going to have to ask her if I can read the script. Oh, no, you don't understand, they said. You see, Jackie told the seniors that she was contemplating taking her own life. And then one day in the computer room, you told her how much you admired her for being the person that she was. She said she went home that night and she decided, if Sister Jeanne sees some good in me, then there's good in me. And she never thought about it again. I tell that story in great humility, but I learned one of the biggest lessons of my life that day. When our schools are communities of care, every word we say might make a difference. And the impact of a powerful remark, a positive remark, might change the trajectory of a life forever. It was a lesson that I learned quite by chance, but it was a lesson that I have taught every prospective teacher and administrator since then. Teachers, administrators, parents, students, community members, every one of us holds a remote control in the lives of our students by what we choose to say to them. We need to be careful to choose our words wisely, for in doing so, we empower them to recognize their own self-worth. Lesson number 3. Some days, the greatest lesson of all cannot be found in the textbook. It's the lesson of lavish love. At one of our schools that opened several years ago, Ella transferred in as a sophomore. And in May of that year, on Mother's Day, in fact, her mother was tragically murdered in the presence of Ella and her younger sister. On Monday morning, as I was driving to school, I was listening to the news and I heard the end of a news report about the murder. And while I didn't catch the name, I recognized the street name as the one on which Ella lived. When we took attendance that morning, Ella showed up absent, and so I began to fear the worst. We made a phone call to the home, and there was no answer. When I finally connected with Ella and heard about the tragedy, through my tears, I offered my condolences and then asked what we could possibly do to help her. Sister Jeanne, she said, I think I might want to come to school later this afternoon. I was like, Ella, school? Don't even worry about it. Whenever it is that you want to return to school, we will do whatever we have to do to catch you up. Please don't let that worry you now. No, Sister Jeanne, she said, I really think I might want to come, but my school shoes are in the house, and it's still a crime scene, so we can't go in. I said to her, Ella, I don't care if you come in your swimsuit. If you want to come to school, come. Then we met with faculty and students to tell them about the tragedy and prepare them for whatever might happen later that day. I wish you could have been here that day, and the day after that, and the day after that. Our faculty and students and administrators wrapped Ella in love and did everything they possibly could to support her and comfort her in her pain. And in the weeks and months thereafter, other parents, community members, our corporate work study sponsors stepped forward to walk with her and comfort her. Today, Ella is happily married to one of her classmates, one who showed her exceptional love and care during those difficult years. They have 2 beautiful children, and Ella teaches preschool. I have no doubts but that the love and care that we showered on Ella gave her at least some hope and confidence when she was down and out. And I know, without a doubt, that the love and care we gave her was infinitely more important than any textbook learning that happened those days. Teachers, administrators, parents, students, community members, please lavish your students with love when tragedy happens, when their hearts are breaking. In doing so, you empower them to have hope in their darkest moments. By now, I think it's clear, none of us holds a remote control alone. It takes every one of us, the entire community, to give the students the love and the care that they need. Because when we do that, they have the confidence to become their greatest selves, to dream the dreams that they have for themselves, to create movies for themselves of their lives that they'll be proud of for years to come. And while they will hold the lead roles in those movies of life, each one of us plays a crucial supporting role in those movies. So, let's do all that we can to love and care for our students, because in doing so, we may just be holding the remote that enables those small miracles to happen, the miracles that have the potential to transform their lives forever. Thank you.